Hi guys, I'm Jamie Arthur. I'm the former Commonwealth Super-bantamweight champion, 3 times British title challenger, Welsh super featherweight champion, and Commonwealth Games gold medalist, and the owner of Arthur's ABC.
Jim, can you tell me your first memory of boxing?
I started boxing when I was 9 years old as a way to try and combat bullies. I was getting picked on by my next door neighbour and a guy who used to live across the road. Well, a lot of people don't know about me. I was born in Scotland, so when I moved down from Scotland, I spoke like Raspberry Nesbitt, I was short, ginger. I was a target for bullies, so it was a perfect way for people to try and make themselves feel better by picking on me and making me feel shit, so I found Cardiff ABC, which is a local boxing club. A little bit scared to go in there because at the time my confidence had been shattered by, let's say, the kids that had been picking on me so much.
Yeah.
So I started boxing when I was 9 years old, and I suppose, as I say, the rest is history.
Growing up as a kid, who was your favourite boxer?
As a kid, I suppose it would have to be the era of Kris Hughes, Nigel Benn. Yeah, that sort of era, because it was on mainstream telly, so everybody got the opportunity to watch them. Obviously Tyson's, it was still around in America, but the British fighters, Kris Hughes and Nigel Benn, that was the era that really excited me and made me want to get involved in boxing.
Who do you prefer out of them two?
Probably Nigel Benn by his ferocious style, the way it was just no nonsense fighting, But then you got Kris Hughes, who was a little bit special when it came to entertaining. He understood the business.
Yes.
And love him or hate him, he was a great fighter. He could set the punches perfectly and he could bang so hard, So yeah, they was okay. They're not perfect boxers as such, but they're great fighters.
And great entertainers.
Definitely, and that's what people want to see. Boxing is not just a sport; it's an entertainment business. So everybody has to realise that it's not just about, like I say, going in there and the best man wins. It's got to be fun. It's got to be entertaining. And that's why so many people want to bait for blood and watch boxing. They want to see a little bit of entertainment, and that's what made me want to get involved with boxing.
Do you have an all-time favourite fight?
All-time favourite fight?
Yeah.
All-time favourite fight, I suppose it would be there's been so many. I go for probably Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard. Yeah, great fight. A little bit closer to home, Joe Kawasaki, Jeff Lacey, the way he just dominated him. He was actually there, they ended up in Manchester. So being close to somebody, I'd say that's probably the fight which I'd say that's perfect display of boxing.
Yeah.
And I can remember beforehand going up to see Joe probably 4 days before the fight, and how nervous he was. And going running with him and saying, that this kid, he's made out to be an absolute killing machine. For Joe to go and, fight somebody like that who was built up in America and do the number that he did, that's just pure class boxing and fighting.
He was the underdog going into that fight as well, wasn't he?
Definitely.
For the first time.
Yeah, regardless whether he was champion or not. A lot of people said that he had hand-picked opponents, and fact of the matter is Joe Kawasaki could fight, and his work rate was amazing, his footwork was amazing. I remember I was fortunate enough one time for him to share the ring with him, not to spar. He was just playing with me. I was probably 9 stone, so I was fast, and it was just an opportunity for me to try and catch him, and I'd go to box him, and then all of a sudden he'd be there, or he'd be behind me, like I say, it was just, his footwork was so special, he used his angles so well, so for me, as a youngster coming up, you know, and a prospect at the time. And to get that opportunity to be able to share the ring with somebody that didn't even have to hit me. You know, I didn't have the ability to lay a glove on him. You know, so that's the art of boxing. You know, and that's why he's done so well.
Can you tell us about your amateur career? How many fights you had and what you achieved?
Yeah, I had 85 amateur fights, 69 wins. I won 9 Welsh titles between the Federation and the WABA. I won a Commonwealth Games gold medal. You know, so the last person before me to win a Commonwealth Games gold medal was Howard Winston back in 1958. So it was quite a big thing, you know, for Welsh boxing because of the history, you know. So that gave me the opportunity to turn professional then, and that gave me a good springboard then to get my career off on the right foot.
Why did you decide to turn professional?
I think that a lot of people said with regards to amateur boxing, you know, or the saying was, make hay while the sun shines, which is right, you know, because at the end of the day, when you're a gold medalist, that was probably the pinnacle of my career. Well, it was definitely the pinnacle of my amateur career. At the time, there wasn't a great deal of funding, so it wasn't the opportunities as there are now, where I could have been in the podium squad and the Olympic squads. It was just a case of elite company had just started off fighting. I had a family to look after and bills to pay, and the money that I was going to get from the elite companies just wasn't enough for me to be a full-time athlete. You know, so the financial draw was for me to turn professional. I love the amateur game, you know, because with the amateur game it's more about the camaraderie rather than the financial gains, you know. But 13 years later, you know, I can't complain. I've had a great career. It's enabled me to set up my own businesses, up my own gym. I'm well known, well respected. So professional boxer, well, boxing on a whole has been great for me. You know, it's given me the opportunities that I never really would have had in life if it wasn't for boxing.
Yeah. Are you happy with what you achieved in your career?
Well, let's face it, like I say, I won 9 Welsh amateur boxing titles, Commonwealth Games gold medal. I won a Welsh professional title, Commonwealth professional title, and I boxed for the British title 3 times. I done it the hard way, you know. I done it the proper way. I started off with Frank Warren. I believe I had 11 fights with him, and then I retired, and then I come back, went with Kris Hughes, and I built my way up as an opponent, if you like, you know, fighting on the road. I went up to box Akash Bhatia for the eliminator for the British title. I was an opponent, and I wasn't up there to go, in their eyes, for me to win. You know, Akash Bhatia, he was beating everybody, knocking everybody out. And I went up there to York Hall and I beat him up in his own backyard.
Yeah.
You know, and it was a case of, I didn't just beat him up by, I shown that I still had the heart and desire and determination in order for me to kick ass when it came down to having a fight. I've always been able to have a fight. And if people underestimated me, I was the worst thing they could have done. Just recently, I was thinking about coming back again. Yeah. Not so, I don't feel that I achieved everything that I could have achieved. You know, I could have won the British title, and especially now, I feel that the British title would have been a lot easier to win now than it was when I was fighting for it against the likes of Martin Lindsay. Jason Booth, I feel I was hard done by with that fight. Going up there and losing by 1 point. A lot of people thought that I'd won it. I thought that I'd won it. My game plan was perfect for the first 6 rounds. I just boxed his head off. No, I absolutely played with him. And then my thoughts were, I can remember in the corner, thinking, this is boring. What am I doing? Why am I fighting like this? But it was a boxing lesson. So I started playing into his game plan, you know, and boxing his sort of fight. And then that's what brought me the opportunity to come back into the fight. And I feel the last two, well, first 6 I won, next 4 he won, last 11 was probably even, 12 I won. You know, so in my eyes, like I say, 7 rounds to 3 on that. So it's a case of I'm 1 or 2 even. So it's a case of, like I say, I could have achieved more. I could have won a British title, but shit happens. You know, at the end of the day, I've done well. I'm happy. I don't feel I'm ever going to surpass that now if I come back. Only because it's going to take too long for me to get the opportunity to fight for the British title, and I wouldn't be prepared to box 6 rounders in order for me to build back up. And I've got other fighters now that I look after that I've got to try and focus my time and attention on.
What would you say is the toughest fight you've been involved in?
Probably Martin Lindsay. You know, a lot of people again, you know, they wrote me off. That was hard for two reasons. Obviously hard for the fight, but the most important aspect before that fight, that was the biggest payday of a British title fight in featherweight history. Yeah?
Yeah.
I think it was something like £21,000 or something like that. It was a purse, went to purse base. So 60-40 split on that. A week before the fight, I hadn't paid my rent for months. No, I was months behind on my rent, to a point where, like I say, our landlord was saying, what's happening? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, well, I'm going to be chucking your ass out. Yeah? I was training in Newport at the time. I had no tax on my car, no MOT on my car. Driving down to Newport on the M4 motorway and run out of petrol. I didn't have a penny in the bank. Yeah? I had nothing at all. Sammy Sims, who was helping me train at the time, had to come down with some petrol for me to put in order for me to get back. It was hard, yeah, so that's the preparations I had with regards to going into a British title fight, yeah? A hard British title fight against Martin Lindsay, who was undefeated at the time. So as you can imagine, having a family, any money that I had went to them. It didn't go to me. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it wasn't down to me being able to have good food and, you know, all the training facilities and all that sort of shit. You know what I mean? It was a case of I just had to do it fucking hard. Apologise for the language. But yeah, so for that side of things, like I say, that's probably the hardest fight that I've ever had to go through.
What would you say is your best performance in a fight?
You know, I was probably getting better as my career was going on. Yeah, from the likes of Jason Booth, Kris Hughes. Kris Hughes was okay when I won a British title. Obviously, I done that by just being gritty and hard, like, you know. But Jason Booth and Scott Quigg. By those times, I was setting my own game plans. You know, I was looking at ways that I was using my brain more when I was fighting. So, as I said with Jason Booth, the first 6 rounds I was boxing perfectly, making things so easy. As I was with Scott Quigg, you know, for the first 4 rounds, couldn't get close to me, you know, because I was just using my angles really, really well. Every time he come close, I'd step off to my right. Didn't give me the opportunity to be able to land combinations on me, and I was thinking brilliantly. But then I started getting a little bit tired, got drawn into again their sort of fights. Obviously I knocked Scott Quigg down in the 4th round. When I started getting a little bit tired then, and I stopped sticking to my game plan. Didn't have somebody in my corner to just say, here's what you're supposed to be doing, stick to it. You know? But to say it was a case of, I think the last two fights that I had, they was probably my best performances, because I was understanding boxing better, and that's what I'm trying to teach my kids now, with regards to my professionals or my amateurs, whether they're 9 years old coming in here, or whether they're 39 years old. Doesn't matter. I teach everybody to understand angles, how to understand defence, how to understand how to not get hit, and do what I was doing wrong, or not do what I was doing wrong for all those years I was fighting, you know, and do the things that I was doing right towards the end. And I think it shows, you know, if people do what I ask them to do, and they drum it into their mind, because boxing's simple really, then they can become good fighters, you know. But sometimes, like I say, sometimes people are lazy, they don't do what they should do, I mean, they go back to their old ways as soon as they start getting tired. So, but that's just human nature, and it's trying to train a dog, like me, you know. At the end of the day, when they're training something, sometimes it does what they need to do, or does what they want to do, you know. But I know that my way of fighting works, and it makes things easier. Because, like I say, you're thinking about fighting. You're not just fighting down there. Fighting a phone box.
What was the biggest hit that you've been in with?
Again, probably Martin Lindsay and we had a 12-round war. Got caught with some great shots. Scott Quigg, obviously, he was accurate. He wasn't a massive hitter, but he was just accurate. Caught me around the float lid because I let him come into the position to be able to catch me, but he wasn't a huge hitter. Back to my amateur days with a boy called Dennis Zimbo. I boxed in the final of the Commonwealth Games. I can show you the DVD now. In the last round, I was coming towards him, pushing forward, and he was tall. He was about 6 foot at the time, massive long arms. And he caught me with 2 uppercuts, and he hit me off the floor. You can see on the DVD, you hit me right up off the floor, hit me again, right up off the floor again. You know, so those 2 people, Martin Lindsay and Dennis Zimbo, are probably the biggest hitters I've been in with.
And who do you say is the best person you've boxed? Technically, you know, all rounder.
For boxing ability and playing to their game plan, I'd say Jason Booth is very cute there with regards to what he does. Again, he uses angles well and he boxes well. Okay, he's getting a little bit older now, you know, so his skill set's coming down a little. So on that side of things, we're inside boxing, using angles. Jason Booth is very good. Obviously, you've got Scott Quigg, you know, who's trained by Joe Gallagher. They stick to set gameplay, you know, set attacks, positioning to be able to land certain shots. So on that side of things, Scott Quigg is good because he's got Joe Gallagher to be able to drill the certain technical drills into them. So when it comes down to a fight, they understand that when they stand towards the right hand side, they throw their right hand, left up. Somebody's going to their right, they don't throw 1-2. Pointless throwing your left when somebody's over there. Now, but a lot of boxers, they don't understand that. They'll try and chase them around with their jab. Where fundamentally, like I say, we got to look at boxing and think, right, when somebody goes to the right hand, we throw the right hand. So the technical side of things, again, I'm going off on a tangent. Jason Booth, Scott Quigg, because of the team.
When you was fighting, can you tell us about your daily routine regards to training?
Yeah, I'd run 10 miles in the morning. Then
every morning or?
Every morning. Then I do 1,000 exercises. Then I go home. Come back in the afternoon, I do 30 minutes skipping. Then I do probably 15 rounds on the bags and pads. And I come back in the night. I do a little bit more conditioning, but not so much then. And I come back in the night then. I do another 30 minutes skipping. And I do my sparring and a little bit of conditioning. So I'll be spending 6 hours a day in the gym.
So you had a 10-round fight coming up. Would you be sparring 10 rounds or more?
I'd build it up, yeah. So like I say, as the camp went on, I'd start off with, I don't know, 4, 6, I'd build it up slowly, and then by the time that I'd only do 10 rounds, probably twice, if I was fighting for a 10-rounder. Yeah, I wouldn't continuously do 12s. Pointless doing that, you know. I think boxing's all about mental, yeah. If you're mentally hard enough to be able to do 12 rounds, you can do 12 rounds. Like Kris Hughes, I had 15 days notice. I was retired. Jason Booth, I had 3 weeks notice. I was retired. You know? So I wasn't in the best shape. But I was mentally hard enough to be able to get through a 12-round fight. You know, like I say, at the end of the day, when I'm in there, I'm not going to get beat. You know? So it's a case of, that was my mentality.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get tired, think it's hard, but I have to quit. Bollocks to that. I mean, at the end of the day, just like with any good fighter, with fighters, you know, we do what we do because...
Do you think it's important to have that kind of mentality?
So important. Bradley Price got it.
You know, you see a lot of boxers, you know, they are like talking and bigging themselves up, but mentally they do really think that about themselves, don't they? How good they are.
Definitely. And like I say, you have to be hard to be a boxer. No, it's not. You can't live a champagne lifestyle, go out and getting pat on the back all the time, and you know, not putting in the groundwork where you're like getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, going for a run when it's pissing down with rain. You know, coming to the gym and getting hurt, sparring and getting beaten up. Because you do. I mean, people assume that when you spar, you perform 100% all the time. I mean, I can remember being in training camps. I can remember sparring with Di Davis. Di Davis, like I say, everybody knows Di Davis, been around a long time.
Yeah.
I was training for the Martin Lindsay fight. Going up and sparring with Di Davis, and he was battering me in the gym. Absolutely battering me. Even before I boxed him in the Welsh, for the Welsh title. Yeah, couldn't get close to him. But my mentality is totally different from sparring to a fight. In a fight, I want to kill you. Yeah, not in wrong words there, wrong worded. But I want to beat you. Yeah. In sparring, I'm learning and I'm trying different things. My fitness isn't right. Yeah, it just goes to show, like I say, when I boxed Di Davis, even before, when I sparred Di Davis, even before the Welsh title fight, no, he was having good spars, he was holding his own, and then when it came down to boxing in the Welsh title, I stopped him in the second round, you know, so that's the difference, like, you know, when it comes down to a fight, and I built myself up, my focus is right, and my mind is right, my fitness and my conditioning is right, then I'm ready to fight. On the build-up, like I say, I'm going to get caught with shots, I'm going to get lazy, I'm going to get tired, you know, I'm trying different things. So, if ever kids are coming through, don't think that you have to be special in there all the time, you know, because unfortunately that's not the way it goes.
Did you have a strict diet when you was fighting, or didn't you not?
As I say, toward the end of my career, it was a case of I had to take fights when they come. Just like Bradley Price has to now, you know. As I said about Akash Bhatia, for that fight I probably had about 5 weeks, so it was quite a good camp really. So I'd normally stick to high protein diet because I knew then that my weight would drop quite nicely. A lot of people, they can't do the high protein diets because they feel they have dropped in energy levels. Yeah. You know, but that's only a 3-day cycle as such. Like, you know, your body works on a 3-day cycle, so it takes 3 days in order to get used to either living off protein or carbohydrates or a mixture of both, just like your water intake. You know, so I understood my diet quite well with regards to the end of my career. So, as I said, I think most likely my extreme is 15 pound in 12 days.
Did you put on much weight between fights?
Yeah, not really. I've retired now 2 years, and what am I now? I'm probably around about 10-1, and that's what I go up to when I wasn't fighting. You know, so. Okay, 10-1 down to 8 stone 10, and 8 stone 8 was the lowest I've ever weighed for Jason Booth fight. You know, so yeah, it's quite a substantial amount of weight. But like I say, if you do it right, your water intake is correct. You know, your amount of calories per day is correct. Then it's easy enough.
Do you still have a dietitian or anything?
No, not really. I'd done a little bit with PAS. They was quite good because, like you say, they give me the supplements. So basically, where I'd have my high protein diets. Sometimes I just live on protein shakes. You know, I lived on carrot sticks. Yeah, but never ever to a point of where I was making myself ill. I was weak. Of course, I was weak. You know, but like I said, I was able to do 6 hours a day on stupidly low calories, you know, because like I said, at the end of the day, it's mentally, when you're a fighter, there's no way at all I was going to get on those scales and be overweight. I mean, Sky TV cameras there and me stand there and be overweight. No way, you know. So like I say, you have a focus you get to and you just get there, however means that you can.
What did you most enjoy about training when you was fighting?
Running, yeah. Even now, I like running because it gives me the opportunity to build gains on my head. Yeah, sometimes a lot, especially now. You know, like I say, I run. We've got 3 businesses. Managed fighters. I've got the amateur boxers. You know, I've got shows that I need to set up. I've always got a million and one things on my mind. I've got horses. There's so many different things going on. Like, you know. So when I run, it gives me the opportunity to be on my own and give me the opportunity to think about what I've got to do, and that's why I enjoyed about fighting. You know, the opportunity to have an hour where I got me time. It sounds mad. People do the dishes to have me time. You know what I mean? Yeah, but I run 10 miles.
Yeah. What would you say is the most important part of training?
Understanding boxing. For a boxer, understanding boxing. Conditioning obviously is important, but anybody can get fit. Anybody can be taught about that. Anybody can shout to somebody to say 10 burpees, you know, go and run 5 miles. But not everybody can teach people the art of boxing. Yeah, so understand the art of boxing, because if you understand the art of boxing, you understand how to defend, you understand how to attack, you understand if you're fighting a fighter, what you've got to do. If you're fighting a boxer, what you've got to do. So it's paramount that you understand what you've got to be a coach that can teach you the fundamentals of boxing. So when it comes down to a fight, you know what you've got to do. You don't put yourself in a position where, like I say, sometimes people get caught and they don't know what to do. You know, they'll just carry on walking onto their right hand. So, you know, they won't know how to get away from left hooks, or they won't know how to fight a southpaw. You know, so as a boxer, that's the most important part about boxing, is learning how to box.
Yeah. When you had a fight coming up, would you try and study your opponents?
Yeah, I had to towards the end, like, you know, because I was training with Darren Wilson. Darren Wilson's an amazing coach with regards to not my fitness and sort of stuff, like, you know. But I've been boxing since I was 9 years old, you know. Nobody knows me better than me, yeah. And I'm not stupid. I mean, I'm quite intelligent with regards to general life, and with regards to boxing, I understand boxing, you know. So it was a case of where I set our game plans in order to get the results that we wanted to get and box the way that we did.
How much do you think you can learn off watching somebody fight and then, you know, going in and fight yourself?
Well, if people have been, do you know what? It's easier to fight somebody that is technically good rather than somebody that is just fit, strong, and keep coming forward and throwing shots from everywhere. When you've got somebody like, say for instance, anybody can win a 4-round fight, anybody can win Prizefighter, for instance, yeah? Because it's fast as furious, all you've got to be is fit and strong. When it comes down to good international level fights, Welsh titles as such, Welsh, Commonwealth, British, these guys can box a little bit. So then we do set things. Most boxers do set things, right, if they've been taught right. You know, so let's say they use angles, they stand in certain positions, they know how to throw a right hand, they know how to do certain things. So it's quite easy to, what was the question? Fuck me, I've gone off a tangent and lost it now. What was the actual fundamental of that question, eh?
You try and study your opponents before.
Oh, studying an opponent. Yeah, like I say, when
I said, you know, watching them, do you think you can actually go into the fight and like
right, I got you.
learn what you've learned? What?
With regards to studying an opponent, boxers do certain things in a certain way, yeah, if they've been trained well.
Yeah.
So they're not going to change that just because they're fighting me. So if I can see the way that they circle the ring, if they drop their left hand when they're throwing a jab, if they move to their left when they're jabbing, then I know that there's a certain punch. If they're moving to the left when they're jabbing, that right hand over the top, then I'll just look for combinations and shots to counteract what they do.
Your last fight was against one of Britain's best, Scott Quigg. Up until the stoppage, how did you feel the fight was going? Well,
I feel that first 4 rounds, I was boxing well, really well. Keeping him exactly where I wanted him. And where you go back to studying opponents, you know. By studying Scott Quigg, I knew where he was dangerous. Yeah? So I put myself into a position where I limited what he could hit me with. Yeah? And then it was only because he had good cornermen. Like he had Paul Smith, obviously he had Joe Gallagher, he had the Smith brothers. Anthony Crawler was in his corner as well. So he had, let's just say, 4 good boxing people that are all looking for the things I was doing wrong.
Yeah.
That's a good team, yeah? Because boxers know where openings are. You know, they see opportunities, they see openings, and a good coach knows how to find those opportunities and to do certain things to be able to counteract what I was doing. And you can see it on the DVD against Quigg. When I think around about probably the 3rd or 4th round, he went back to his corner and he went, what do I do? I couldn't get close to him, and he couldn't. I was boxing beautifully, yeah. and I was disheartening him, and it was only a case of where, like I say, he had good corner work, that they said, try this, you know, like just like I would.
Yeah.
Try and move around here to be able to set this combination up. Try and cut them off this way. Try and move that way, you know. And like I say, I started tiring, so I didn't carry on doing what I was doing. And then that's how he caught me with a body shot, you know. But up until that point, I was boxing really well.
I was training and preparation going into the Scott Quigg fight.
Preparation, conditioning was brilliant. Mind was good. I was just in the process of opening this place, actually, my gym. I had Sky TV cameras here, probably 5 days before the fight.
Yeah.
And I was actually in here laying the rubber floor. Yeah. When they come here at the time, because this was a shell, this was a derelict building when I had it. I can show you some amazing pictures of it. And obviously I wanted to try and get this so I could get the publicity on Sky as well, you know. So I was in here doing the rubber flooring, and like I say, that was part of my preparation. You know, I've always been a worker, you know. So like I say, working full time, working 10 hours a day, and then coming training. If that was what I had to do, like, you know, that was what I'd do. So while I was training, I'd be down here renovating this building, you know. So yeah, it kept me focused.
Okay. You've been out the ring for almost a year.
2 years.
Or 2 years. What was the reason behind this then? Was you retired when you took that fight?
Don't think so. No.
Why
No,
was
I
that?
wasn't retired at that time. When I had that fight, I said I retired after it. Again, because I'd set up my gym, so I was one business. I was just in the process of buying I've got a barber's and a beauty salon as well. So I was in the process of setting up those businesses. So that took over my ability to be able to train full time, because I had other things to do, you know. So that's why I decided then, probably the best thing for me to do is just hang up my gloves and do it from the coaching side of things. So yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, but what was the reason for the inactivity before the Scott Quigg fight?
Possibly the same. When I was just I've always been determined and hungry, and I'm like a woman. I'll make something out of nothing. Yeah. Like I say, it's always a case of where obviously you only get paid when you fight, you know. So unless you're fighting regularly, you don't get paid, you know. So at that time, I was making money. I was doing different things and trying to get myself in a position where I could afford to live aside boxing, and I was renovating this place, you know. So any money that I had to make had to be pumped into this. I spent about 30 grand on this place, you know, trying to get it from where it was to where it is now. Yeah. So I had to make money in that meantime to be able to get it. I had to have the Scott Quigg fight to be able to finish off, to open this up, you know. So yeah, that's possibly what the inactivity was all about.
Now you've got all these up and running and sorted, any chance you're making a comeback?
Again, I can. You know, I can still fight. You know, I still spar. I think I understand boxing better now, because I'm teaching people how to do the things I was doing wrong at times. You know, so when you're constantly thinking about it and you're constantly around it and constantly in the gym, I could definitely fight again, and I could do okay. You know. Yeah. But I've got Bradley Price, I've got Jimmy White, I've got Kyle King. I've just signed another prospect, and Ricky Owen, you know, who's 9 times Welsh champion and
come back
British champion. Yeah. So I've got to spend my time on these guys now. I've committed to helping other fighters. You know, so if I've got preparation for a fight myself and they've got preparation, then it's like anything in there. You know, they're not going to get out of me the best I should be giving them.
There was talks you coming back and fighting Robbie Turley. Any truth in that?
Robbie Turley's not in my league.
So was that fight ever going to happen or not?
No.
What was your most memorable achievement in boxing?
Probably winning the Commonwealth gold medal. Yeah. Probably winning the Commonwealth gold medal in 2002. Only because, like I say, the magnitude of it. 44 years since the last gold medalist. You know, I believe, well, yeah, I am definitely the only Welsh guy to win a Commonwealth Games gold medal and the Commonwealth professional title. So that's quite a thing. Yeah, and I suppose, boxing for the 3 British titles. I've done okay. I mean, I've done okay, and I'm happy.
You've now got your own gym. You've become a pro trainer. Are you enjoying that part of it?
Yeah, definitely. I'm fortunate where I don't have to work. You know what I mean? I need money. You know what I mean? Just like everybody needs money, so everybody goes to work to earn money. But I'm fortunate with regards to I do things that I love every day. Yeah. I do what I want to every day. If I don't want to go to work, I don't go to work. If I want to get somebody else to do certain things, I get somebody else to do certain things. If I want to try different things, then I can. You know, I like working with my boxers, both amateur and professional. I like putting on boxing shows. You know, so I'm very fortunate to be in a position where I am now, where boxing's enabled me to do something that I love doing.
What days is your gym open, and who's welcome to join?
For the amateur boxing, the gym's open Monday, Wednesday and Friday from 5 p.m. 5 till 6 for kids, so we start off at 8 years old up into 14, and then at 6 o'clock then till 7:30 we've got senior boxing, you know, and then till 7:30. Anybody's welcome to come along. You know, if you fancy getting involved in boxing, then come along on a Monday and Wednesday. It's at 7:30. That's where we do like a technical boxing session. Guys that don't necessarily, or are not necessarily in a position where they can fight yet, you know, but they want to get fit, they want to learn the fundamentals of boxing, and they come along to these sessions, and then if they're good enough, then they come down to the amateur boxing sessions as well. On a Tuesday and Thursday night, we run strength conditioning classes at 6 till 7 with Liam, our other coach. Brilliant classes and excellent for our boxers as well. Whether you're a boxer, rugby player, football player, any sportsman, runner, you know, the conditioning side of things are so important. You know, so like I say, Liam's a great part of the team, where he uses his knowledge and his experience to be able to get the boys or the guys in great shape. And then we do ladies box fit at 7 o'clock on a Tuesday and Thursday also. And then Saturday morning, we do, And then obviously my pros, then we could be training at 6 o'clock in the morning, we could be training any time throughout the day. And then the gym is open for personal training sessions, and always open to new ideas to be able to keep it as busy as possible.
Bradley Price is one of your pros over here. How did you two get together?
He found out that I obviously had the gym, and I got my trainer's license, so he approached me with regards to helping him for the remainder of his career. You know, so we spoke. You know, we get on okay. It's a pain in the ass sometimes, but we get on okay. And since then I think we've probably had around about 8 fights. And as with people within like Bradley's experience, he's not going to get noticed. He's not going to get noticed for fights, just like I didn't. You know, so my aim is to help Bradley make as much money as possible, keep him as safe as possible, and teach him how to box to the benefit that's going to get the best out of Bradley Price. You know, so as you can see now, from like he had Frankie Gavin at 13 hours notice, Labchenko probably 2 weeks notice. No, went up to Denmark 3 weeks notice. King Davidson now 10 days notice. We're not going to get notice, so we've got to make sure he stays in condition all the time. You know, understands the boxing, the fundamentals of certain things. But Bradley's an old dog. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, he's going to do what he knows best and what he always reverts back to. But I've just got to try and teach him how to do the fundamental side of things to be able to have that a little bit more of an edge. And like I say, it's working. You know, it's coming together. As I said, with regards to my career, these guys, the likes of Bradley Price, they're my priority now. You know, my career is not my priority.
You've just signed another young talent. Can you tell us more about him?
Yeah, Ricky Owen. You know, he's numerous time Welsh champion, 2 times British champion. You know, he's a great prospect, a nice kid. You know, so I'm going to nurture him along slowly now. I've just sponsored him for 6 months as well, giving me the opportunity to just train full time. You know, so he's going to be working here at the gym for me.
Yeah.
And I think that's paramount, because like I say, it takes the pressure off him a little bit, where he can just focus on doing what he needs to do.
Yeah.
You know, and learning the trade that I want him to learn. Like I say, he's brilliant talent. He's been coached really, really well by his old coaches. So he's got a good grounding.
Where's he come from?
So, New Triga. You know, so good kid, good prospect. Only 19. You know, so like I say, we need to bring him along slowly. We don't need to just chuck him in at the deep end. You know, so my view will be to start putting on my own shows towards the end of this year. So like I say, I'll give my box the opportunity to fight more regular and build their way up the rankings that way. You know, rather than relying on other promoters.
When you open to have him out?
Hoping to have him out.
For his first
I'd like
fight?
around about May time, May, June. Yeah. So, like I say, but as I say, I'm going to alleviate the pressure of all the financial pressure on him to have to worry about working full time. So you've got the opportunity to do it slowly.
Yeah.
You know, and when he fights, I want him to make sure that he looks good. You know, and he understands it. He understands what he's doing properly. So. Right off on the right foot, you know, and obviously the aim is to try and get Eddie in, you know, the bigger promoters, and to be able to take notice and see what he does.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a case of just take my time, build him up slowly, and see what we can do.
He's been sparring with Bradley and stuff like that?
Has he sparred with Brad? He sparred with Bradley once while he was still amateur. Yeah, he's been sparring with my other guys here.
Yeah.
Sparring has been good.
Sparring with you?
No, he hasn't sparred with me yet. I haven't sparred now for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I expect. Yeah. So, and to be honest, like I say, what I do with regards to my sparring, I don't go in there and I don't do 5 to 10 rounds. But what I will do, if I see guys that are sparring and I want them to do certain things, then I'll put the gloves on, I'll spar with them, and I'll show them how it works with what I'm doing. You know, what I'm asking them to do.
Yeah.
So I don't need to continuously be in there pounding my body, you know, but while I spar with people, I can show them what I need to show them in 30, 35 seconds, you know, where a case of I'll just show how to set up right hands, I'll show them how to avoid certain shots, you know, so that's my input with regards to the sparring.
Yeah. Do you still do any training yourself, Jim?
A little. I don't get a chance, you know. Like yesterday, I started yesterday morning at about 7 o'clock, and I got in last night, probably around about 9:30. Yeah. Yesterday was a bit of a crazy day. Yesterday, personal training, buying stock, buying materials, going around and sourcing timber, and then going up and putting fences up, you know, and sorting out the horses, you know. So that's where, if I've got a chance to train, then I'll train. When I'm training the guys, I'll do a little bit with them.
Yeah.
But it's not like you're training for a fight. You know, it's not like the same sort of conditioning. When you're training for a fight, then you'll be here and you do an hour, 2 hours. I always threaten Liam and say I'm going to come down and do a session with him, you know, but never get the opportunity really.
Big weekend coming up this weekend. You've got one of your boys on. We got Enzo McAnally,
Yeah.
Prizefighter.
Yeah.
Enzo fighting for a world title. What do you think his chances are? How do you think he'll do?
Do you know why everybody's... And I've even written off Enzo over time. No, let's face it, only because, like, when I initially turned pro, I was down with Charlie Pearson, and Enzo was down with Charlie Pearson at the time as well. And we'd spent some time together in the amateurs. We're not great friends, I mean, don't get me wrong, but like I say, we've been around the circuit together and we know each other. And some of the knockouts that he's had have been killer knockouts. But that doesn't say that he's not a good fighter. Then the punches that he got hit by, anybody would have been knocked out by.
Yeah.
So I thought at times I wish he'd retire, because I don't want to see him getting hurt, only because of the way that he's been hit. Just check his weight for me, mate. Yeah, so to come back as he has, you know, against all odds, and get to the position that he is, obviously with Frank Warren's backing, utmost respect. Jürgen Bremer, technically a great boxer, not a massive puncher though. You know, so the fact of the matter is, if you probably look at it, not at percentage, I'm not 100% sure, but I would assume that Enzo is going to be possibly a little bit harder puncher on paper, you know, but Jürgen Bremer can box and he can fight quite well, you know, so and he understands the fundamentals of boxing. So it's a big ask, especially going out to Germany, but I wish him all the best, and I'd like to see him come back with a win.
Okay. I've also got Jason Cook fighting in Prizefighter, second time round. How do you think he'll do?
Jason Cook never loses punching power. Seems more dedicated and more focused than ever. I gotta be honest, I love Jason. You know, he's one of the nice men in boxing. You know, so I would love to see him come away and earn a nice big payday.
Yeah.
Because I believe he's 39 now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's coming to the end of his career. That's again, like we all are. You know, we've been around a long time. So. He come back, stop Tony Pace, yeah. Great stoppage. One thing, you never lose your punching power. Over 3 rounds, as I said earlier, anybody can win. All you got to do is just jump on him from the off. So he's in with a good chance, and I'd like to see him come away with the win. I also noticed that Tony Dick, they're doing like a tag team in boxing. Sounds crazy, isn't it? But they're doing a tag team format where Tony Dixon will be his partner. So say for instance, I don't know, if Jason Cook had got a cut and he couldn't carry on, even though he won the fight, then he'd tag Tony Dixon to come in.
Is that in effect now for this one, or?
I believe so. Yes, he is, yeah. So I don't think that's going to work, because obviously, like I say, with regards to boxing's a single man sport where it's not a team effort. If they have to tag to be able to get somebody else in, then they're going to have to split the money.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's going to work quite well, to be honest.
You once fought in Prizefighter yourself. If the offer come up again, would you be tempted?
Possibly, yeah, possibly. See, I'm like a yo-yo, and yeah. But like I said, it has to be short, sharp. I'm not interested in building up for 18 months doing, or even 10 months just doing 6 rounders. Possibly get the opportunity, because I'm too much of a risk, too little reward. You know, why are people going to fight me? You know, what have I got? What do I bring to the table? Nothing now. You know, so it's a case of they're only going to assume that I'm past it, or they're going to try and use my name to be able to get themselves for ranking. Well, like I say, it's not going to happen. So if Prizefighter come along, then yeah, there's a possibility. I'd like to be thrown into that.
What do you think of Prizefighter competition itself?
Good. Again, it's fastest few years, and it's an opportunity for boxers to be able to earn some good money.
Yeah.
And it's exciting.
People now starting to say it's run its course. What do you think?
Of course, yeah. You know, I believe, yeah, that's possibly right, and that's probably why they're looking at all these different ideas, i.e. tag team.
Yeah.
You know, when I boxed in the Prizefighter, they had the wild card, I think it was called, where basically it did happen. I lost to Ricky Owen, but he couldn't carry on fighting after I boxed him. You know.
Do you think if that happens, you should?
Yeah, it should have been moved forward. Well, after that tournament, they done that rule where if, like, I'd lost the fight, but the other kid couldn't carry on, because I'd hurt him, whatever, then I'd get the opportunity to go forward. Yeah. You know, so.
So, Jay, how can boxing fans follow your progress?
If you log onto our website, which is www.arthursgym.com, okay, you'll be able to get all the information with regards to regular updates, what we do at the gym, if we've got any boxers that are competing out, or any news with regards to what we're doing. You can get me on Facebook, which is Jamie Arthur. We've also got an Arthur's Gym page and a JKA House of Pain page. Yeah. You know, so if you're interested in any of the,
you're on Twitter as well?
That we do, yeah, Jamie Arthur 888. Yeah, that's our main contacts with regards to contacting us, so you can pop into Arthur's Gym anytime.
Yeah. Jim, thanks for talking to me today, and before we go, have you got any final words?
Yeah, just to let you all know, we got a boxing show, amateur boxing show on April the 26th at Ridvelian Sports Bar. It's called Rumble in Rid 2. Our first Rumble in Rid was a huge success. We had 12 fights, amateur fights, all 50-50, because I believe that's what people want to see. They don't want to see knockovers, they don't want to see blowovers, you know. So what we try to do is put on good shows, entertaining shows, it's like a professional format using the amateur days in their amateur ranks, and that's the way I want to make it entertaining. So tickets are available, which are £10 per person. You can either get them at Arthur's Gym or phone 07896 878 336, where you'll be able to collect the tickets. And come along for an amazing night of amateur boxing.
Will they be able to pay on the door, or do you think it'll be sold out?
Yeah. Well, last time I was expecting about 150 people there last time, and we easily had 350 people there. It was absolutely bouncing. It was an amazing event, and it will sell out again. So get here sooner rather than later. And it's going to be a great night. So please come along and support the guys.
Okay. Well, thanks for talking to me, Jim, and wish you all the best for the future.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you.